Welcome to Unrestricted Airspace. This is going to be the first interview, and today we are here with founder and visionary Nico van Rooyen. Nico, welcome.
Thank you. Hello, everybody.
Nico, I'm going to ask you a few questions about DC Geomatics, and just starting off, what inspired you to start DC Geomatics?
Well, it was a timing thing for me in my life. I've just sold a business that I built over 12 years. And then I wanted to do something new. I was 30 years old at the time. And then I heard of the drone legislation that was coming out in South Africa and in the world. And South Africa had the claim to fame of being the first country in the world to actually have drone regulation. So I thought it was an exciting opportunity to get involved with this new industry. And also transitioning from financial services where I was before, to what do you transition? Yeah. And so this was ideal where kind of nobody knows anything about drones. And so trying to get in the game quickly or early rather. And so that was really the whole strategy, is just seeing that there's an industry about to form here. And I've always wanted to be one of the old boys in the industry, in the financial services industry, which is a very old industry. I was always the young guy trying to get somewhere. And so that was always a big handicap that I felt. It doesn't matter what you do, there's always the old boys table at the big conferences and the things. And so this was for me an opportunity to be the old boy. And so now we're celebrating 10 years. I feel that we're well on our way to one day being the old boys in the game.
Definitely. Nico, tell me, what was the industry like back then, and how did you see an opportunity to do things differently?
Yeah, so the industry in the beginning, it seems that the technology unfolds in a similar pattern, more or less. So my introduction to the industry was through surveying. And so I remember the early drones being very difficult to do surveys. I mean, all sorts of landing was an issue. Taking off, finding suitable places was the issue. So the guys are really spoiled these days. You can take a multi-rotor, press a button, and it does the survey.
Yeah,
so when Clint and I started way back, it was like, problem solving was the order of the day.
Definitely. Yeah.
So the industry's changed a lot in terms of that. You can see the maturing of the survey industry into these almost aircraft that fly themselves, essentially. And now you see that there's onboard processing capabilities going onto the aircraft. So not only is the aircraft doing the survey, it's going to start processing the data and doing the reports as well. Definitely big changes there. And if you compare that to the agricultural industry, which then it's a sub-industry which started later than the survey industry. And so, they only about 5 years or so old. And so you can see, again, the technology started very rudimentary with the first spraying drones. They didn't have a lot of capacity. They weren't that really great, sort of like the first cell phones. You kind of laugh at them now when you look back at them. So, and again, I'm seeing that progress in the same manner as the surveys did. So, I think very exciting where the industry has come in 10 years.
So, Nico, tell us about the early days of DCG. What challenges did you face and what kept you going?
Yeah, so that's a very good question, and it's really essential to the existence of DC Geomatics was the big challenge that we faced. And I believe this is a challenge that all drone operators face, is that, I had the small ROC with 5-6 drones, and it cost me 50,000 Rand a month to try and run that business from a compliance and systems point of view. And that, to an extent, had nothing to do with producing any money. And, I scaled that up, and I had the 150,000 Rand ROC. And so now we run, 500,000 Rand a month ROC. Because what people don't realize is that there's a cost, or some do realize it, but initially they don't realize the cost of compliance. So a lot of people will feel that they need to get their own license. And so, I've been there, I've done that. That was the reason why my drone services business failed. And so for me, it was then clear to try and give other people what I didn't have, which was, access to a top organized license or ROC at a cost that you could never reach on your own. So instead of 50,000 Rand a month it can be as low as 3,500 rand a month with us for unlimited flights. So we've then gone further. And so not only did that create our core business model, which we then went further and said, okay, let's see what other benefits we can give our partners.
Definitely.
And so we've got the lowest insurance premium in the country when you operate with us, because we've done a bulk deal and we've passed the saving down to our customer. We've got a free training academy that teaches you a variety of operational specifications for free. Well, it's included in your fee. So you are getting all of this, for one fee without the admin. And that was my biggest challenge as a drone operator, and that became the solution that has now become DC Geomatics drone technology.
That is incredible. Thank you so much. So tell us about how important was laying the right foundation for the future of the company?
Yeah, it was very important to me. I knew that this was going to be a highly regulated industry. And so, we wanted to be seen as the guys who do it the best. And when I say the best, is the most compliant. So we've really gone to great effort and really to great expense. Still now that we spend an enormous amount of money on the system and making the system safe, and really embracing the compliance for its benefits in operational safety and profitability ultimately. One of the things that a lot of people don't believe me, but it is what it is, and that's how committed I was to laying the right foundation, was that in our 2 years that we were getting our license, I refused to operate illegally, because I didn't want to get into an industry where I want to be this compliance provider and operator, and only to have skeletons in the closet. So that cost me a lot of money initially. Might have been, to some extent foolish, but that's just to show that how committed I was to not having a blemished reputation and to doing that. That's also got me a lot of flack through the years. People like to prove Mr. Clean and tidy to have skeletons in the closet. So it's attracted a lot of bad or negative attention, I would guess. But, ultimately, if you've got nothing to hide, then there's nothing that they can do. So, we really just try and do things right with an open and clean conscience. And, it's done us well. Build up a good reputation from that, yeah.
Wow. You now sit on the board of KUASA. What does that role mean to you?
Yeah, it's a role that's important to me because the industry is important to me. It's a new industry. And as I said, I knew from the beginning, the initial guys are going to pioneer this industry. We're going to have to carve out a way. And going in hand with that is actually partnering with government in a sense, because they are the authority, they are the regulator. And so, they need the ground level business inputs from the initial drone operators to be involved in regulatory reform and to open up the industry in a responsible way, and to actually reduce, regulatory boundaries as far as safely possible. And so, if you want to be part of the solution, you've got to get involved. So I've been a board member for 5 years. It's one of those jobs that don't pay at all. It doesn't pay you any money, and it's your own time. But beyond that, it also attracts a lot of, again, negative attention, because there's good factors in the world, and there's other factors that always try to stifle other people. So look, that's competition, it's business. I'm not crying about it, but again, it's come with some sweet and sour. We are very involved in trying to get involved with regulatory reform and to just open up the industry. And so I will continue to do what I can there, even though it's to my detriment, I guess.
That's amazing. So tell me, where do you see DC Geomatics going in the next 5 to 10 years?
I see DC Geomatics in the next 5 years continuing to help develop the regulations in a way that achieves that, both access to the market for all your drone users, but maintaining safety and regulations in place. And I also see us potentially going international. So we have found our niche, so wherever there are drone regulations, People want to use the tool, and they don't want the admin and the safety responsibility that goes with it, because that really needs to be taken seriously.
Yes.
I see scope for us to open up in other countries. We've got the model, to continue to build on our name as a competent, simple, effective compliance provider.
Of course. Nico, thank you so much for giving us your time today. It's really much appreciated.
You're welcome. It's been a pleasure. Thanks.
Thank you for joining us, and until next time.